this a big screen? There we are.
And then there was silence.
I gotta wait for confirmation. Yeah, we're online, baby.
Right.
Let me first open up the document that you sent me. Wahapedia.
It's empty right now, but we're gonna fill it.
Wahapedia.
Yeah, that one. That's important. That has all the rules you need.
Wait, there are rules to this game?
Yeah, there are rules actually. They have tried to make it balanced, and for the most part, they succeeded.
Armor of Hercules. This model has +4 invulnerable save.
Yeah, that's just a model. If you mouse over data sheet, I'll show it to viewers as well. If you put your mouse over data sheet, there are all kinds of data sheets. Yeah, we're gonna have to work through a couple of options, shall we say? Okay.
Oh, fucking damn it.
Well, the general idea was, because we haven't explained jack nor shit. The general idea was, because we have been having 2 episodes where we're looking at the lore of Warhammer 40k, and instead of just looking at it, we thought to ourselves, you know, what would be fun? Playing the tabletop while discussing the lore. Which is why today we're going to make Yari an army, because then he can actually command an army and then try and beat me. Or, hell, somebody else who might end up joining. You know, who knows? First and foremost, we're going to have to make him an army, because if he doesn't have an army, he can't play. Simple as that. I advised him to stick with one of the armies he knows about. Because, you know, a good jumping off point. And when he wants to switch an army, I would only say only armies that he's seen on the battlefield as of that moment. That's up to him. If he wants to go totally different because he saw something, then he can do so.
Because I saw something shiny.
Just, he has to make his own army at that point. So, he's kind of boned if he doesn't know what he's doing. This is why, first time, we're doing it on stream, and also, I'm helping him.
Alright, my streaming software
now then.
is working. Everything's all good. Okay. So I need to open this spreadsheet shit?
Yeah, that would be helpful. I mean, I could type most of the shit in there that you've decided on, but, you know, it would be helpful if you have it open as well.
Why are they called my Smurfs?
Yeah, well, they're Smurfs, as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough.
Sorry, have you seen this army on screen? It's nothing but goddamn blue.
I mean, blue is...
So this is the Smurf army, deal with it.
Blue is one of my favorite colors, so...
Yeah, so it's blue, deal with it. Right.
I'm blue, da boo dee boo dee da.
First and foremost, there are a couple of battlefield roles. You have HQ units, which are all these boys. Then you have the troops.
Elite units.
These are your basic infantry fuckboys.
Right.
Like, you have your tactical marines with all kinds of weapons. And sergeants and everything. You have your intercessors. These are the new boys. These have 22 implanted organs. These guys only have 90. They're stronger. Technically speaking. They're also more expensive.
Ooh.
This is also Primaris. These are Infiltrator style Primaris. Same here. These shouldn't be in the troops. These are not troops, but fine. And these are the scouts. These are... they haven't gone through all the augmentations yet.
Really?
So these are kind of these are just the recruits. They're supposed to be sneaking around instead of being the meat for the battle line.
So so lesser augmentations means they're faster then?
No, they're smaller.
Well, fair enough.
And less valuable.
So size does matter.
Which means they also have less armor.
Size does matter then.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Then you have the fast attack category, and I kind of don't... I shouldn't be having to explain what fast attack units should be. I mean, guys on bikes, for example. You know?
Right.
The fastest fuck boys. You know?
You're fast as fuck, boy.
The guys that flank around and, you know, jump back infantry and, well, some of the drop pod options. You know?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to smash into from orbit, you know, these are the kind of options you have. And then some turrets, but I wouldn't advise using
like
those.
Like a giant laser cannon or rocket launcher.
What, this?
No, the other thing. The big one. The big one you just showed.
Oh, this. These.
Yeah, it looks like giant fucking laser beams of rocket launcher.
Well, this is a Death Storm missile array it's equipped with.
Oh, that sounds fancy and deadly.
Yeah, that's the cannon array. These are, I think, too expensive for their actual usage, though. So, okay, then we have the elite slots, and let me zoom out for a second. Everything in this square is considered an elite slot.
So they're pretty cool.
So this is anywhere from the boys in the Terminator battle plate, which is just heavier power armor,
with
to
swords.
specialist land of attack speeders are these, to Terminators with a bit more boom, instead of lightning claws and thunder hammers and trying to smash your face in. I wouldn't consider those to be proper shit. These are the company veterans. They can basically, they have their uses. You'll see the rules for them. The company champion, basically, a somewhat useful guy. The company ancient. Now, this guy has particular rules. By the way, these are also ancients. They're just different flavors of ancients. An ancient in Terminator armor. Primarily is ancient, so like a new boy ancient.
Just like you're an ancient as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Then you have the apothecary. This is basically the medic.
Oh.
Technically speaking, you shouldn't be able to allow to use him, but he is an index option. I think I could look it up though. Is he an index option? Good question. I think the answer is yes. Although I can't find him right now. But yeah, these are the medics, these four. These are basically the older style Terminator armor. These are the boys with the heavier Terminator armor, which are slower. These are the boys with the, well, lighter Terminator armor, which are actually faster.
Makes sense if it's
These move at regular pace. Then you have the Stun Guard Veterans. This is basically the elite infantry. Then you have the Vanguard Veterans. Oh, by the way, these guys are the elite versions of these boys, the Tactical Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vanguard Veterans, these boys,
Yeah.
they are the elite options of the Assault Marines. They're basically jetpack armed mofos running in there, usually with chainsaws,
Oh, that
to
sounds
cut
fun.
up the enemy. Yes. Of course, you have them in both Sergeant variant and the non-Sergeant variant, because, you know, a squad has to have a Sergeant. And you also have them in with non-jetpack, although I wouldn't use those. They have the two Relic Deradeos. Now, these are relics. If you want to bring a relic, you have to have a regular a battlefield role unit of the same type. So if you want to bring a Deradeo, you have to bring another elite,
I see.
which can't be a relic. So that's important. So if you want to bring those guys, and they can be fun, you have to bring another elite.
So you have to
Although that wouldn't be a problem. Hey, that wouldn't be a problem because, well, let's be real, you've got plenty of options.
I was about to say, goddamn.
These are Assault Centurions. This is basically even bigger armored Space Marines.
Jesus fuck.
This is when you put armor on top of a Space Marine.
Why?
Because they needed more protection. And these are the Assault variants, so these are the melee variants.
But like when we go against each other, it's turn-based, right?
Yeah.
But do I individually control every single unit, or is it like one big group that you're like control?
Well, let's say you have a unit of Assault Centurions.
Mm-hmm.
Then the unit would look something like this. It would be 3 Assault Centurions in one unit.
I see.
For Tactical Marines, it would be, for example, 5 or 10 guys. It would be a squad being a unit.
I see, that explains it.
So you don't have to individually move them, which is useful.
Thank God.
Yeah. But they have to stick together. So a squad of Vanguard veterans have to stick together. That's the rule. Unless in the data sheet of that Warhampedia site, that's where you'll have all the data sheet. Unless in the data sheet there is an ability that lets you split them up, you have to keep them together.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. And they have to be within 2 inches. So basically, you can't spread them out more than that. And this program actually has measurement tools, so that's useful. These are aggressors. These are basically the Terminator idea of the Primaris guys. So these are slower, but they shoot more. And they hit harder in melee. The Spooky Reavers, again, Primaris. These would be Phobos, so more of a scout slash, infiltration type. Then we have 3 ironclad dreadnoughts. These you could consider siege dreadnoughts. Supposed to be used when you're sieging a fortification. These are a bit heavier armored than your regular dreadnought, but they are also more expensive. Then you have the regular dreadnoughts. I should have shown these guys first, but fuck it. These are usually equipped with a close quarters weapon and 1 ranged weapon, or only a close quarter weapon. But if you want to use a dreadnought, particularly if you want to use it for firepower, I advise a venerable dreadnought. because you can more. These guys just hit. They are better at aiming, so they hit. They hit more likely.
Higher chance to hit.
So I would advise using them. They are more expensive, though. You have to keep that in mind.
Oh well.
Then you have the Contemptor Dreadnoughts. If you want to use a Contemptor, don't use these. Just the regular Contemptors, not that good. Then we're going to go to the Redemptor Dreadnought. This is the Primaris Dreadnought. Because, of course, the Primaris are going to have their own shit. Even on the Dreadnought department, and you can have them in two flavors, basically, or a plasma cannon or a, well, minigun style weapon. These are not correct models, but I'll get the correct model if you want to use them. It wouldn't be the problem. It's just a representation right now. These are the Stealth Insertion Tactical Invictus Tactical Warsuits. They can actually stealth insert. Considering the size of these fuckos, I don't know how that works, but they have a concealed positions rule, which allows them to deploy further up the battlefield from your deployment zone, which is basically stealth. Don't know how they sneak up, though. They are allowed to. Don't know how. Now you have the Relic Contemptor Dreadnoughts. These would be actually the Contemptor Dreadnoughts I would advise, or the Contemptor Mortis Dreadnoughts. But I think we're going to see them later on. These just have more weapon options. Because you've seen here too. You have the multi-melta version and the Caratus Pattern Assault Cannon. Well, let's be real. We have a twin heavy bolter version, a multi-melta version, twin last cannon version, heavy plasma cannon version, assault cannon version, and the C-beam cannon version. If you want to use these, I would advise just using a Contemptor Mortis, but we'll see them later on. Relic Whirlwind Scorpion. I think this is a artillery piece. Either that or an AA vehicle. Not entirely sure. You could look up the rules later on. A couple of Relic Sakaran tanks in different flavors. The Omega Tank Destroyer, which is basically a plasma cannon version. By the way, plasma cannons, if they roll a 1 on the hit roll, if you roll a hit roll of 1, they do damage to your own unit. So they are a bit of a risk reward, but they do more damage. Sometimes.
Sometimes you fuck yourself over.
This is a proxy model. This is supposed to be a Sakaran Punisher with a Punisher rotary cannon. But considering that model is apparently not yet online, this is a stand-in model. If you're going to use the Punisher, I'll make sure you get a Punisher model. I know where to find one. Just not in this load-up. The Venator Tank Destroyer with a neutron pulse cannon. It's in the name, a tank destroyer, essentially. And this is actually a pretty good one, because that cannon has +1 on hitting aircraft, and considering aircraft usually have an ability that means they are harder to hit, this one cancels that out. No, actually, this one doesn't have a +1 to hit. This one negates penalties from flyers. So, basically, it's essentially a +1 to hit.
Fuck them flyers.
These are against flyers, so against these boys. And these. But they are too big to be considered regular flyers. These are all also relatively strong.
Lord of War units.
Yeah, they are Lord of Wars. Then we have the older, well, the specialist pattern predators. I would advise using against them. They're not that good. Then we have dedicated transports. These are basically the APCs, or the infantry fighting vehicles.
What's up, Basmod?
All kinds of things.
What army am I going to play?
Plus drop pods.
I think these guys are called Ultramarines.
Yeah, you're playing. You're going to play Ultramarines.
Yeah, I'm going to play Ultramarines.
These are the Ultra Smarts.
Well, this is my first time playing.
Because he already knows about the Ultramarines a bit.
So I should be good. I'm probably.
Yeah, now we're coming to the heavy support units, which are basically your tanks, your anti-tank, your heavy anti-infantry. There are even snipers in here. Big boy dreadnoughts, hell blasters, plasma wielding guys. Yeah, I'm gonna skip a little bit faster because otherwise we'll be here. These are basically the double weaponed dreadnoughts. So 2 missile launchers, 2 twin last cannons, 2 twin assault cannons. You get it.
If you say so.
These are the mortar.
I don't know.
These are the contemptor versions. By the way, this is a really good anti-tank platform. You should be considering that one. Now you get to the Land Raiders, which are big boy tanks. And we've got all kinds of Land Raiders, all kinds of flavors. The Predators in 2 flavors, either an autocannon or a last cannon, with sponsors. I would not consider this one. Vindicator. Not sure if I would use it, but hey, if you want to use it, that's fine. AA tank, another AA tank, pretty cheap one at that. Artillery and artillery, basically missile launchers. I think the anti-tank version, I think the anti-infantry version, if I get it right. And this one is, I believe, the anti-aircraft artillery. But you'll see the rules eventually. And flyers. Not sure if I would be using that. It's a Calidus assault ram. You've seen one in action, or one similar in action.
Yeah, from the league.
When they boarded that.
From last week, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But that's basically, essentially, a boarding craft. Not necessarily the most useful thing on the tabletop, though.
It's just a big
I'm going
plane.
to have to say that. Yeah, and considering I can target as long as I can see any part of the model, this is a big boy. So, easy to target.
Like me.
Yeah, it kind of fits you. It kind of does.
Hey, my name is Big
Fire
Blue
Raptor,
after all. So it's kind of fitting.
Fire Raptor assault gunship, Storm Eagle, Storm Raven gunships,
Storm
and then
Eagle is from Mega
Storm
Man
Hawks.
X.
Storm Eagle?
Yeah, that's a boss in Mega Man X1.
Well, you could use it. I mean,
No, Storm
it's
Eagle
not
is
that
shit.
bad, to be honest.
Storm Eagle is a shit boss. Like he's actual crap.
Yeah, well, the Storm Eagle here isn't necessarily bad. It's a somewhat on the expensive side. And then we get to the really big boys, tanks. We're talking about at least 400 plus points for one model.
And how many points do you
And
have?
you only have 3,000 to spend.
Jesus Christ, so you can only have like fucking... So you can only have, let's see, do you 4...
Yeah, this thing, you can only bring one of this one.
Damn.
Because this thing sucks up to 2,000 points.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It better kick fucking ass if it sucks so much.
It has quite a lot of weapons though, and it takes a fair amount of abuse before it goes down. It has 40 wounds.
Damn.
It's not easy to chew through. 40 hit points, yeah, pretty much. Okay, well, my advice, let's try and get 2 HQs options. 2 HQs and 3 troop choices.
Yeah, just give me the beginner
That's
package.
my advice to start off with.
Let's do the beginner package. That sounds the greatest.
Yeah, basically what 2 HQs and 3 troop choices will be is 1 detachment. You have to organize troops in a detachment.
I see.
And the detachment you can form with 2 HQ and 3 troop choices is will give you 5 command points, and command points you can use on abilities that boost your army on the battlefield.
I see.
So technically speaking, the more battalions you can use, the more of those stratagems and fun toys you can also deploy. That's why I advise 1 HQ or 2 HQs with 3 troops to start off with, because you have a baseline for command points. Then you already start with 8 points. 8 command points, because you get 3 from just having an army, following the rules, and then you have 5 because of the battalion.
I see.
That you'll form with the HQs and the troops. Now, you can look yourself through the data sheets.
Sure, Mod. Just ask your question if you want. We're here to learn.
There is a question?
There will be coming a question.
Yeah. There is a question?
It will be coming.
I'm
assuming it's being typed now. Oh,
I'm currently not having the stream open, so I could also look it up.
How do you calculate what the wound rolls are after you hit?
How do you calculate? What was the question?
How do you calculate what the wound rolls are after you hit?
It's relatively simple. It's the strength of your weapon.
Minus the
So let's say I'll just show the data sheet, right? It would be the strength of the weapon. In this case, let's say we're shooting with the gauntlets of Ultramar, right? It would be the strength of the weapon against the opponent's toughness. If it's equal to, so let's say it's strength 4, toughness 4, you would be wounding on 4s. So 4, 5, or 6 would be a successful wound roll. 1, 2, and 3 would be a fail.
That sucks.
And that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
I guess.
Let's say Melnius Calgar now fires at himself, which means he's firing a strength 4 weapon against toughness 5.
Yeah, against T5.
Right? Then he would be wounding on 5s, because it would be the toughness is greater than the strength of the weapon. So only a 5 or a 6 would be success.
Dice
and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's all on dice rolls.
Are fails.
So you roll a dice, and if I roll 5 or 6, you take damage.
Yes.
But you only take 1
Let's
damage.
say now you're shooting at something with toughness 8 or more.
Yeah,
then it would only be 6s.
Oh, 6 is an automatic hit.
No, technically speaking, a always wound.
Okay.
Because we're talking about wound rolls here, right?
Okay.
Very important. Because you can actually have a scenario where you need to roll 7s to hit, which basically means you shouldn't be rolling because you can't hit. In the next edition,
No, I want to test God.
that's going away.
Okay.
So important to
That's
remember.
no fun.
But for current rules, you could actually make it impossible to be hit. That's going away.
I guess it's going away because people cheese with that or something.
Yeah, there are some interesting ways of doing it.
I see.
So, however, now we're getting to the fun stuff. If you have strength 4, but you're shooting at toughness 3, so your strength is greater than.
Then you
Guess what happens?
Then anything you roll will be a wound. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
No. 3, 4, 5, 6.
What?
1 and 2 would still be classified as a fail.
Why?
Because you still have a chance of it not being good enough.
Of it missing, basically.
Essentially. No, they're not hitting something critical, for example.
I see.
Yeah, somewhat because space combat as well. Also, wound rolls of 1, regardless of the situation, will fail.
So you're always.
However,
so you have
strength
a 1 in
4.
so you have a 1 in 6 chance to just survive anything.
No matter what, it won't wound. Right. That's true.
I see.
However, strength 4 against toughness 2. Could you predict what you would be requiring?
That's the strength 4. That'll be.
Toughness 2.
That
would be strength 2 times or more greater than.
So you need to roll then a two and up, yeah, 2 and up.
Aye, the chat knows. The chat knows. Agree, 2 up. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Fairly simple if you actually, the moment you know it.
I'm more of a practical learner, so the moment we actually start playing the game, I start fucking up, and then we're like, don't do this.
Yes. Now, my advice right now for your first 2 HQs is get something of a captain. So either a captain or a chapter master.
Mm-hmm.
If you are playing Ultramarines, you're gonna have to pick the guy with the data sheet I have now in front of me, because he's the official chapter master.
The Mariners color.
Yeah, he's actually. We actually know the chapter master of the Ultramarines in the lore, and he actually has a model. So you can't. As far as I'm aware, you're not allowed to upgrade a regular captain to a chapter master. It's just not a thing you do.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean, technically speaking, I wouldn't be against it, but.
So he costs 200.
Yeah, he would be costing 200. Or you pick one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different style of captains, and actually this would also be considered a Ultramarine captain. So you have plenty of captain options as far as an Ultramarine is concerned.
Okay. I do want to go for the.
So, do you want the? Do you think you want the special guy, or do you say just a regular captain is good enough right now?
Let me get the special guy.
The special guy. So you're gonna pick up Manius. You're gonna pick up Manius Calgar. Okay. We're gonna. I'm gonna show you the model as well because I find it interesting. That would be this guy. He's pretty big. So we're gonna note Manius Calgar. You could also note it down if you want to. I have a very specific way of noting it down because I find that easy.
I just trust you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're gonna have to note down some of them as well. I'm not gonna do everything.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, right. You can't pick war gear for Manius Calgar because he just has what he has. You're gonna have to deal with it. So, yeah. Sorry. Also, something we haven't talked about yet, but yeah, I agree. They should really make an online version for the tabletop and have their own sculptures in it. Then we don't have to scramble for sculptures. Okay. Because I saw chat. Now we have him. If you make him your warlord, because we haven't discussed about this yet.
Yeah, warlord.
When you go to the battlefield, you have to pick a warlord with a warlord trait. In case of a named character, usually they have their warlord trait pre-assigned to them. So if you want to pick a warlord trait on them, you have to pick this one. This isn't a bad warlord trait. There are better ones. However, if you make Manius Calgar your warlord, you get 2 additional command points.
And command points are used to do shit.
Yeah. And whenever you spend a command point on a stratagem, on a 5-up, you basically get the command point back because of his warlock trait. So basically, you have a lot of command points to play with when Manius Calgar is on the field.
That's cool.
He also provides something very interesting, and that is his Chapter Master special ability, which is you can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by models in friendly ultramarine units while they're within 6 inches of this model. So, let's say he would be allowed to re-roll his hits if he fails them.
Okay, one quick second.
When he's shooting,
I should just note down the names of the guys I want.
I've written him down. But you shouldn't be looking this now up. When we're playing the game, you can have this open as well, and then you can just look it up.
Oh, okay, so
I don't have a problem with you looking this shit up.
I have a cheat sheet. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And an invulnerable save compared to an armor save, you can't reduce an invulnerable. Well, there are methods of reducing or nullifying an invulnerable save, but they are way harder than a regular armor save, because armor piercing, the AP value, that stands for armor piercing, reduces your armor save. So it will, let's say I get hit by AP -3, I would have to roll a 5-up, essentially, to make my armor save with Manius Calgar. But if it's a -3 on Manius Calgar, I would use my invulnerable save, because then I would have to roll a 4-up. You need to pick which save you're using. You can't use them both. You have to pick which one. But that can be for every individual attack. You can decide which one you're using. You'll see that on the battlefield when we're getting to that rule. Because my army has a lot of these rules. These 4-up invulnerable saves.
Pretty
That's
much,
just-
haha, you're not
so-
hitting me, fuck you.
No, you're not piercing my armor, essentially. Now, my advice, considering you have a Primaris Chapter Master, would be to get a Primaris Lieutenant. The reason why is this reason.
They work together.
Read it.
You can contain the one can. Oh wait, that's tactical print.
Tactical
that's pretty
precision.
good. Got a lot of them rerolls.
Yeah, basically you... What are you running then? Imperial Fist with nothing but old school. So no Primaris, essentially. And I'm using a lot of Cataphractian Terminators, because I wanted to try them out for once. And Cataphractian Terminators have 4-up invulns. I saw a question in chat. Just answering. So I would be advising to use a Lieutenant. Now, a Lieutenant, you basically have a war gear option this time. So you actually have to decide what we're gonna run with them.
I see.
You can either have the master-crafted Stalker bolt rifle or the master-crafted auto bolt rifle. If you want to keep this Primaris Lieutenant with Mania Skalgar...
What's the B right there? Next to abilities. I see something, a P and then a B.
Oh, the D? This one?
Yeah.
That's a damage.
Uh-huh.
So you have 2 damage a shot, 3 damage a shot, 1 damage a shot, or a D3 damage roll. So you're not necessarily sure how much damage you're gonna do. This guy is base 65 points. A Primaris Lieutenant is standardly equipped with a bolt pistol and a mastercrafted auto bolt rifle. So that would be that one. That would be Assault 3. Now, assault weapons. Let's just say that the type of weapon, depending on what kind of weapon, actually makes a difference. For example, heavy weapons, you can't move. You can move, but you'll suffer -1 to hit if you're shooting with that weapon. So if you want to move this guy every turn, then you're suffering -1 to hit with the Stalker bolt rifle. Assault weapons, if in the movement phase you decide to advance your troops, which is basically just extra movement. If you have an assault weapon, you're still allowed to fire that weapon, but you suffer -1 to hit. All the other weapons can't fire. So that's the advantage of an assault weapon. And the advantage of a heavy weapon, it doesn't have a... Well, I would say it has an advantage. It's usually a heavier weapon that does more damage. That's the advantage. The penalty is you're suffering from moving.
And also
so if you want to stick him somewhere down... Yeah, and usually heavy weapons have more range. So you have more range, but you're not... You shouldn't be moving around. If you're gonna stick this lieutenant with Mania Skalgar himself, I would say get the master crafted auto bolt rifle. And when we get to actually going to the table, there is a particular relic weapon that you can use to replace the mastercrafted auto bolt rifle, which isn't going to cost you any additional points. It's a free relic, and that basically gives you a strength 5 AP minus 1 or AP minus 2. Not entirely sure. Auto bolt rifle. And that does, I think, still 2 damage. And that's a really good bolt rifle. It really has a lot of shots for what it does. So it's a really good weapon. And if you don't have anything else to use your relics on, it's a really good weapon. That's why I would say use the auto bolt rifle. Considering you probably want to use...
Why does the power sword says range melee, type melee, and then with the S it says user?
Yes, when in melee, the range would be melee. The weapon type is melee. Simple.
Uh-huh.
And the strength is the strength of the user. So basically this Primaris Lieutenant would have a strength 4 power sword.
Uh-huh.
Because the user is strength 4. Because the Primaris Lieutenant is strength 4. And so the power sword would be strength 4. Let's say the user was strength 5, then the power sword would be strength 5. Let's say it's user times 2, then it would be strength 8. Let's say user times 3, then it would be strength 12. The weapon would then be based on the strength of the user rather than the strength of the individual cannon, shell, or whatever. Because a power sword is a melee weapon. You have to slice your enemy with it. That's why strength user. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. But wait, so if you were to be like hit with something that reduces your strength, then that would affect your sword damage then, right?
Yeah, that would lower your strength of your sword as well, yeah.
But if you were to hit with something that lowers your strength and you use a gun,
you don't suffer that problem. True.
Mm-hmm.
However, melee, let's say this Primaris Lieutenant would get into melee and would be equipped with a power sword, thus being able to use a power sword. If he were to use his mastercrafted auto bolt rifle, he would have 3 shots a turn. If a Primaris Lieutenant gets into melee with his power sword, it would be 4 attacks, plus shock assault, so 5 attacks, plus any buff to the attack stat. Because this stat, the attack stat, is used for the amount of melee attacks you get. There is, for example, a Space Wolves character that on the charge can have 10 attacks, and he can fight twice.
God damn.
So 20 attacks a turn. He's a human blender, essentially.
That's broken.
Yeah, but these are anti-infantry attacks, so you can't kill a tank with them. And you have to get him melee first, which isn't easy. As Space Wolves. So. I would advise, again, the audible bolt rifle. It will cost 4 points, so it will increase the price, because this is not included war gear. And it would only cost you 69 points for a lieutenant at that point. That would be my recommendation. If you want to use any of the other weapons, fine by me. That's up to you. So what will it be?
Let's go with the fucking auto-bolt rifle.
With the auto, okay. Also, your army for these two commanders, it kind of would make sense now to have a more towards the enemy style army. So an advancing army, not camping somewhere in a building and trying to, wait for the enemy to come to you. The leaders kind of make such an army more of an idea to do. With Manius Calgar and the lieutenant. Which is probably going to be... Let's see, it's probably going to be this guy. Or, well, this guy. Because that's an auto-bolt rifle. Although he wouldn't have a combo, he wouldn't have a combat knife, but, Okay, then we're going for troop choices. And now we're going to look at here. My advice right now is get small squads relatively cheap. You can always add more to the squads at the end of the day.
Just keep adding more
small units.
Guns. Just keep adding more and more guns.
Yeah. Now, if we're gonna be running Primaris Manius Calgar and Primaris Lieutenant, you could still go for scouts. They are cheap. You are allowed to deploy them further up the field than any other troops you might have because of their rule. But, well, they wouldn't be in range of the two buffing characters you have right now. So, questionable to bring them. I mean, you could still do it. They are the cheapest infantry. The cheapest troop options you have. You could still do it.
As scouts usually are.
1 point more expensive. Yeah. They are cannon fodder, pretty much.
God damn.
Tactical Marines, they are 1 point more expensive than scouts. You could bring them relatively cheaply. And you would have 6 bolter shots if you equip them right. Which would mean giving the sergeant a storm bolter for 2 points. Which is basically just a tactical marine extra for 2 points.
Can units run out of ammo? Can units run out of ammo or not?
No.
Okay, good.
You cannot run out of ammo.
That'd be some bullshit.
There are some weapons that have the special rule that you can only fire them once per battle, for example. That would be simulating ammo. But most weapons don't have that rule, so you don't have to worry. However, considering we have mostly Primaris right now anyway, you might as well go full-on Primaris right now. And you might look at the Intercessors. These are the cheapest of the Primaris troop choices. These guys would be the sergeants. These guys would be the regular guys. You have them in 3 flavors. You have them in the auto-bolt rifle variant. You have them in the bolt rifle variant. And you have them in the Stalker bolt rifle variant. And we'll get their data sheet with it. Because it's important.
Stalker bolt sounds like
you could also equip them with...
Stalker bolt sounds like some homing bullet.
What's the Primaris Marines are a bit more expensive, and lore-wise, they have 3 more organs.
What?
And are technically speaking made through Belisarius Kroll, which is a character, and the regular Marines with 19 organs they are technically based on the plans of the Emperor himself. So they are more old school. Primaris are the newer guys.
What the fuck?
The new kids on the block, shall we say. Yeah, don't look in the lore too much. We'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to it. We'll probably get to it on the battlefield, considering my army is going to be old school, non-Primaris, and your army is going to look a lot more Primaris than my army. So this is going to be fun.
Sounds good to me.
Such a... yeah. Yeah, it actually makes a difference, apparently. They also get the new war gear, the Primaris Marines.
Maybe that's the difference for their power.
They have new stuff.
Not the organs.
Yeah, they also have 3 more organs. Yeah, you shouldn't be... But the Primaris Marines... well, they're also technically, lore-wise, they're also a tiny bit bigger. So, you know. Well, let's just pick the stats with her. You have the bolt rifle. This would be the bolt rifle. So this is rapid fire 1. Now, what rapid fire does is fairly simple. If you're within half range of your max range, you get double the amount of shots. If I were to fire this bolt rifle in 15 inches or 15 inches or less, I would get 2 shots for the price of 1.
Jeez.
Then again, with an auto bolt rifle, I would have 3 shots at 24 inches. But then again, I wouldn't have an AP -1. And an auto bolt rifle is 1 point, which makes a intercessor with a auto bolt rifle 18 points, and an intercessor with a bolt rifle just 17 points. You kind of have to think what you want to do with that one. The Stalker bolt rifle is basically a battle rifle / sniper rifle, somewhat more in that range, which is also, you know, a heavy one, strength 4, AP -2, and D2 damage, or damage 2. With more range, but it is a heavy weapon. So, if you bring Stalker bolt rifles, that squad is probably not going to move a lot. Considering your characters, you might want to use these intercessors with the characters. You might want to advance. Either go for bolt rifles or for auto bolt rifles. Again. Right now, I would just suggest 3 squads of bolt rifles. If you find... Oh, my mic sound shit? Or Yari's mic sound shit?
I haven't said anything, but it's mostly because... I know why this is happening. It's because of my end. It's my problem that this mic sounds like you won't hear it because it's like you have a slight crackle. That's my fault.
What? Okay.
Just
well, we're gonna have to deal with it then.
It's my fault because my computer is crap and thus like normally if I stream without using Discord I get a solid 30 FPS for streaming. But with Discord, I go to like 29, 27, 28. And that's when the for audio from different people sounds like a bit cracked. Like you have to listen to yourself on stream to find out. For example, people will hear me crystal clear, no problems, no anything. But audio from other people will sound. It's really weird.
Well, we're gonna have to deal with it, and
yeah. Also, it might be your mic. Which,
I would
I'll
advise
take
bolt
the- I'll
rifles
take
right
the
now.
call.
Okay. He's just coming around to stay for a couple. Oh, nice for you to join.
Thanks for
We're
listening to
gonna
the old.
do
Thanks for
troops.
listening to Old Man Explains the Stream. It's basically at the moment it's just the old man explaining, you should do this, you should do this, and I'm just sitting and smiling and nodding and be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you don't know what.
Also, if fans noticed, I won't be here tomorrow. Because now I got my two fucking.
You won't be here.
I got my two like fucking viewers that are always here. So I'll tell you two right now that I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be having a barbecue. No, I'm not dead. I mean, I might die, cholesterol and shit like that. Overeating. But God bless me, that's the way I want to go.
Are you allowed to bring bolt pistol, bolt rifle, flak and crack grenades, and your right? Yeah, you could also give your sergeant a thunderhammer, power sword, power fist, or chainsword. If we have points, I would advise yes. If we don't end up having points for it, well, it is a tabletop game, so it's going to look a bit weird. True. And the model quality isn't all the same. Because it's not officially supported.
Oh, it's not licensed. We're gonna get sued.
Right, I have to get that. Let's see. Oh yeah, right. Note it down. Good. Then we have the basics. Right now, we're already 500 points down the drain right now. Is there a particular model you just fancy, just by looking at it? Did you say, well, I just want to bring that one?
I like those flamethrower looking guys. Those with the red hat.
Wait, which one?
The one with the red helmets. Looks like they have flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers.
Right here on the left hand side.
You mean left? Or these guys? But then the flamethrower version. This one. Oh, which one?
Yeah, that one.
That one?
Yeah.
So you want to bring a group of assault marines? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it could be that my internet is also acting up right now. I have been downloading quite a bit.
You watching porn
Maybe
again?
this will sort it out. Yeah, I'm watching porn, deal with it. Hopefully this will sort it.
Some Warhammer 40k shit.
Yeah, of course. Some kinky shit, Slaneshi shit, you know. You know me. Oh, let's see here. Assault Marines. Assault Squad, is it then? These boys are 12 points, but they cost a bit more because, well, you probably want to bring them with jump packs, I imagine. Because when they have the jump packs equipped, they move with 12 inches instead of 2. But they will cost 3 more per model. So you would end up with 15. Now, you have all kinds of options.
Jeez.
Fast. Tuck. These would be assault. Oh, by the way, the assault squad. This is something I may have to explain right now. Has
The
a
table.
special rule that allows you
I
to
just saw the chat. The table is
set
on
them
my
up
top,
in.
baby. Jeez. Really?
Yeah, but you're allowed to set up the assault squad off the board, which means you get in turn 2 you get to decide where they are coming on the board, and you can set them up anywhere outside of 9 inches of my units. So you could basically set them right up in my face, if you want to, on your turn. And they would be allowed to charge on that same
So I
turn.
can't play during your turn.
And it would be a 9. Well, it would be your turn, but I wouldn't be the first turn. I wouldn't be able to shoot at them. They are unshootable for me. First turn. Something to consider. Let's see here. What's the minimum size squad? 5 men. Melee units, I would advise bringing a bigger squad. But we could stick with 5 men right now. It's up to you.
I think 5 men sounds pretty nice. It's a good number.
Okay. So we'll start with 5. Again, you could always add onto them. Okay. For every 5, let's see, the first rule. The sergeant can equip, instead of one bolt pistol, a melee weapon or one of the pistols. That would be the sergeant. And he would have extra attacks. My personal recommendation, but that would be my recommendation, is depending on what you want to make the assault marines actually do. Go against tanks, bring a power fist, bring a thunder hammer, but you could change your you could switch out your chain sword, which is already a melee weapon. You could also bring double lightning claws for a bit more extra infantry blending.
I love the name of that. Double lightning claws.
So go with double lightning claws?
Yeah. You
could always try them out. If they don't work for you, you can dump them next
Wait,
what
round.
Does that say?
When resolving an attack made with his weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. The Evisceraptor.
Yeah, that's the Eviscerator. Yeah. You have to look at the lightning claws, which would be this. If the bearer is equipped with 2 of this weapon, then when the bearer fights, it makes 1 additional attack using this profile. So you would get, I think it's 3 attacks base with when you're charging, you're getting charged, or you're performing a heroic intervention. I'll explain that last rule eventually on the tabletop. That's not important right now. You get an additional attack, so you would be using 4 attacks, strength 4, AP -2, 1 damage. And you get to reroll the wound roll.
Hey.
for the weapon, regardless of the lieutenant nearby. It's also a pretty good rule. You could also bring multiple squads of these, but I wouldn't necessarily do it right now, shall we say. And that would cost a pair of lightning claws, because we're going to bring a pair. That would cost 10 points. So we're already at 10 points. Okay, so the sergeant pretty much has his equipment decided for him. You could bring melta bombs, but considering they have utter shit range, I would not advise. They are way too expensive for what they actually do.
Okay then.
And then, now comes the fun part. Up to 2 Space Marines can be equipped with a plasma pistol instead of a bolt pistol, or a flamer instead of a bolt pistol and chainsword. My advice, you want to bring as much chainswords in this squad as possible, so don't switch out for the flamer. That would be my advice. And plasma pistols, they are a bit expensive for pistols. I mean, you get to shoot once. Yeah, so that would be chainswords and bolt pistols. That would be my idea. You could decide to bring an eviscerator, but, well, it would be strength user times 2. So that would be strength 8. AP minus 4, D3 damage, but you would be hitting on force, essentially. Unless Manny Escalgor gets close and personal, in which case you get to reroll everything. If you have confidence in your ability to get Manny Escalgor up the board, bring an eviscerator. If you don't bring an eviscerator. For the first game, personally, I would say don't.
I do love the strength times 2 though. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I do agree. That's a good stat. However, if you want basically strength 8 melee attacks, I'm gonna show you a couple of units that fulfill that lusting. So
what's the highest you can get? Highest strength thing? Like, what's the biggest strength number you can pump out?
A Warlord class Titan would have strength 16.
Damn, so if he uses this...
Base strength 16. Yes, but a Warlord class Titan, we're going to have to switch factions, because I'm going to want to show you this one. And we may not even finish our army right now, but we're working through the basics, and then we'll finish it up eventually. This would be a Warlord class Titan. And the point cost, by the way?
Damn. 6k?
Yeah, that guy you can't wield in the game we're playing, because he's too expensive.
It's a single unit.
Yeah, a single unit. If you want to purchase them for real life money, be prepared to pay 1,500 euros.
1,500 bucks for a model?
Yes, it would be a model up your groin.
How big is that thing?
It would be a miniature model that would reach your vulnerable parts.
God damn.
Yeah, Warhammer 40k, taking the piss out of miniature wargaming. I know. So, let's see. I think we're inevitably going to upgrade the assault squad to either a 10-man group or 2 5-man groups. But we'll wait a little bit for that. You thought strength 8 melee attacks would be a decent idea, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we're gonna look at the aggressors. These would be Primaris models. Haha. And these would have auto bolt storm gauntlets in both shooting and melee. And I would advise the auto bolt storm gauntlets. By the way, you only pay once 12 points. It's not that you have to pay for both the melee and the shooting of the weapon. This is considered one weapon with 2 profiles. Then I would advise the aggressors. They would have strength 8, AP -3, D3 damage. They suffer the -1 to hit. True. They have 3 attacks though per model. That kind of makes up for it.
That's not bad, is it? Or is it bad?
And they have another important rule. If they advance, they don't suffer hit roll penalties. And they have the Firestorm rule. When this unit fires Overwatch, Overwatch is basically the enemy charges at you, you get to fire at them. So that's useful.
Sounds fun.
But Overwatch only hits on 6s usually. So it is a drawback. Or this unit is chosen to fire with. Models in this unit can shoot twice if this unit did not move in this turn. So if they haven't moved, they get to shoot twice. Ultramarines, if you play an Ultramarine only army, which you are going to play, if they are in turn 2 or turn 3, models with assault weapons or rapid fire weapons count when they're shooting as though they haven't moved.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
So you get to shoot twice, regardless.
Only turn 2 and 3.
Turn 2 and 3.
That's really weird.
Only. Yeah, that's because of the combat doctrine Space Marines have, and in particular the super doctrine of the Ultramarines. They have it on the tactical doctrine, and that's turn 2 and 3. I basically have extra damage versus vehicles on all heavy weapons, but only on turn 1. Because it applies to the Devastator doctrine, and only I get 2 heavy weapons on turn 1. Because the Devastator doctrine is only turn 1. So, but that I would do an extra damage to vehicles. With any and all heavy weapons. That's my trade. So, let's see, what else? You can bring them in squads of 3. And if you get a specific dedicated transport for these boys, you can really shove them up the board really quickly. So that's a really good way of doing it.
An easy way to get.
And if you're gonna do that, I would advise just going all on mechanized infantry push up the board. Because if you're gonna do it, then just do it completely.
If you're gonna do
just
it,
go
do it good.
Right? Maybe get a second battalion with 2 extra HQs and scouts just as troops, just to get some extra command points, so that you can have some backfield scouts to cap objectives and stuff. and for screening purposes, so I can't deep strike my shit up your ass, because you won't like it.
Jerk.
So again, I'm probably gonna make that second battalion. I'm just for you. I'm just going to have to know what kind of HQs you want to do, and then I'll do that entire second battalion for you completely. But we're gonna add the aggressors to your army right now, and the only problem they have
Aggressor squad
is because they have Gravis armor. They cost 2 models in a transport, and Primaris transports can only carry 6 guys. So they would only be able to carry 3 of these.
That kind of sucks.
That kind of sucks. However, you can bring just 2 squads of them and have
2 squads will be more than enough. In other words, right?
I didn't hear that last part. Sorry.
2 squads should be more than enough.
Yeah, you could charge them up, and you could also charge the transport up in the enemies. You could do it that way. Let's see. Every model is equipped with auto bolt, gauntlet, and fragstorm grenade launchers. So you also have the fragstorm grenade, assault D6, which you would also get the fire twice. So that's good. Right, that would be 3 models a piece. They would cost 21 a piece. 3 models, and then 16 for the entire war gear option. And you're going for with the default loadout.
Sorry to cut you off, but I do have to go in 15 minutes. I do have to cut this off in about 15 minutes.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, because when I got home, my dad. Well, I have been up since like fucking 7, and my dad was like, "Well, tomorrow we gotta wake up at 6." I'm like, "Fuck."
Okay, well then, yeah, we're gonna do that quickly. Then we're gonna do the transports, and then we'll do everything else just off cam.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an idea.
If you don't,
because I think you're gonna bring a couple of impulsors. They start off with being able to bring 2 Stormbolters, and you basically can equip them with a Iron Hill Heavy Stubber, or you could pick either the Balakros Missile Array, which is weapons, including an anti-tank missile, an anti-infantry missile, and an anti-air missile. This is particularly good. I wouldn't necessarily go this one.
These rules follow the exact like the real life tabletop game, right?
Yes.
How in the fuck are
These are the data sheets for the tabletop.
Right. And I've read that there's also tournaments using this shit. How in the bloody fuck are you supposed to remember every ability and shit like that?
Because you have to bring to any tabletop. You have to bring 3 or 4 books.
Oh, okay. So
then all the rules are in the books, and you just bring the books.
So you're just.
But usually, if you use a unit enough, you start remembering the rules.
Yeah, but then you're like, okay, so this unit does this and this, and when your opponent's like, what the fuck, you'll be like, here, check the book. So how long does an average game last then?
It depends on how familiar the players are with their army and how many points you're using.
Uh-huh.
Quite frankly, more points on the table equals longer games.
Yeah, I read in the website that apparently if you use like enough points, you can have like a fucking battle that lasts the entire weekend. Like what in the actual hell?
But yeah, that's what we call apocalypse games. Yes.
What the fuck?
Because they are kind of apocalyptically long.
Like, can you imagine just imagine fucking just going to your place? We're sitting down at your table, placing everything. We're like, okay, 8 hours later. All right, lads, it was fun. Let's take a break. Come back tomorrow. Jeez.
Yeah, well, when I get the box set I want to buy, because there is a particular box set coming out, I actually want to buy that one. It's gonna cost me quite a number of cash, but I want to buy it because they have awesome looking models, and I want to start somewhere. It would be Space Marines versus Necrons. Now you don't know the Necrons yet, but we'll come to that one later.
We'll get there.
And yes, we could play them against each other, and it might take a while. Yes. I would have both armies, and you could learn both armies on the tabletop here. And I would set up a table for it, yes.
That sounds
we
fucking
could
awesome.
do that. But we could also use Tabletop Simulator, and we could do it over distance.
We could also use fucking 2 laptops, and we'd be done.
Yeah. And then we're just, $36 down the drain instead of hundreds of bucks for all the models.
God damn.
I mean, technically, in Tabletop Simulator, we can use the Warlord class Titan. We could. If we have a game big enough to use a Warlord class Titan, we can. There is a model of it. We can use it.
Jeez.
And we don't have to spend $1,500 to use it.
Yeah, I'm rather a fan of that, yeah.
Yeah, me too. By the way, I'm considering 2 impulses with shield domes for you.
Uh-huh.
Because you have then two impulses that are somewhat harder to kill. And I think I'm going to give you another impulsor with the Bellicus missile array for a bit of AA, and that you have extra transport capacity for characters, etc. That you can move them up the board fast as well.
I assume AA
so they can stick with the aggressors.
anti-air?
Or we're going to bring... Or the Bellicus missile launcher, it can function for anti-air.
Excellent.
So if I were to bring a flyer or a unit with the fly keyword, it would have fly here. Then you would have +1 to hit. And otherwise you would fire the crack missile.
A free +1.
Yeah, for against fly +1.
That's awesome.
Which usually negates the -1 you have against flyers. So, it's good.
That's awesome.
I was thinking, and I don't know if you like the idea or not, but to have for the intercessors also impulses. Then I would probably have 2 more with shield domes and 1 more with a Bellicus missile array. So you can shove the entire infantry lineup just in APCs up the front if you want. What do you think about that?
Sounds fun.
Okay, then we're gonna have 4 shield domes and 2. So that's 2 storm. Because it's equipped with storm bolters as standard. And I mean, I'm now letting you pick most of the things that might call fun. By the way, right now, your only real anti-tank option is either the crack missiles or
Yeah, I do need
punching
some.
them to death.
I do need some anti-tank. What? Punching a tank to death?
What do you think of the Relic Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought I was talking about?
Ah,
With the 4 twin las cannons. Or with the 2 twin las cannons. What do you think of that one? Does that sound
that sounds
appropriate?
pretty.
A guy in a dreadnought.
That sounds pretty cash money.
You know, a guy that has already died, that has technically already died.
That sounds pretty cash money to me. That man can save my ass.
And then you would have 2 impulses costing. I think this might actually work out pretty well, actually. Now that I think of it. I mean, against Joey's Deathcore army, you're gonna suffer massively because he brings way too many tanks. But, you know, what are you gonna do against a guard player? That's just guard for you.
God fodder.
Yeah, they either bring a fuckload of infantry. Yeah, just infantry by the buckets, or they bring a reasonable amount of armor. It's like any other faction still looks at it as like, excuse me, how many tanks? But, well, it's guard. At least they hit only on 4s. Whereas the special forces tend to hit on 3s. So, right. Okay. Done that then. Right. How long do you have left?
5 minutes.
Okay. When I talked about Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought, technically speaking, this should be a Relic Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought, but fine. I was talking about this bad boy, with the double twin las cannons. That would be I'll look him up. However, I think you have one problem. And that is you haven't brought a... Oh no, Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought is not a relic. So you... No, it doesn't have the relic keyword, so you're allowed to bring him even if you don't bring any other... what's it called? Any other heavy support. Because you're only bringing one heavy support right now. Not that that's bad, though. It's not like you need everything from you need every thing you need from every branch. You need something. You could entirely skip flyers if you want. Well,
Yeah.
technically speaking, the assault marines are allowed to charge aircraft,
Sounds
which
like
are one of
sounds like a bit
very
to
few
think
units
about.
that are actually allowed to. Yeah, you're actually just allowed to charge into an aircraft, which is funny. You're basically allowed to melee attack aircraft.
That doesn't make any sense.
Not sure how that works though. That's why I say not sure how that works though. But you are allowed to do it. Oh, by the way, this is probably we're gonna have to discuss off screen. But I'll probably advise a Primaris Apothecary as well. We're gonna discuss it further off screen because you're gonna have to call it quits right now. But we're probably gonna give you a medic so you can heal up your aggressors and your bulk of your infantry.
I
think that's a good idea. Or do you consider that the other idea? A not so good idea.
I'm fine with it. Sounds pretty cool.
Okay. Right now we're just past the halfway point. We're on 1579.
So then, in about 2 weeks, we'll do. In 2 weeks, we'll do another episode of this. Then we finish the army, and then 2 weeks after that, we'll actually fight.
No, I would actually say we're gonna finish the army off camp. And when we're the next time, we're just going into a battle. Like,
Excellent.
I'm gonna show my army, you're gonna show your army,
I'm really
and we're gonna start the battle.
I'm really sorry, by the way, that I have to go.
No problem. So we're gonna do it off screen. We're gonna finish it. So we might have to plan when we're doing that. But when you have free time, we'll just
Excellent.
go in a call and finish.
Oh yeah, that sounds pretty.
Yes.
That sounds pretty hot. Hello? Oh, there we are.
It does.
Wait, what's my fucking thing lagging?
So you do your outro?
Well, I want to thank everyone that came through today for watching. If you're watching this back on YouTube, also thank you so much. I also want to thank you, old man, for guiding me through this entire fucking thing. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, I'm expecting if you want next time you're gonna make an army, you're doing it on your own. When you find that your army might be lacking something, you have to change it up, and you're gonna have to do that on your own. Because after one game, you should already be quite capable enough.
I expect to do it indeed. So. Anyway, thanks guys so much. I won't be here tomorrow. I will be here on Sunday.
You might want.
I don't know what I'll be playing by then. So yeah, everyone have a
no
damn
clue
good
when you're back online.
I am always online.
Hey, and Monday I'm back for the grind fest.
Oh fuck you! Don't remind me. Anyway, guys, bye.
What?